around the world.
And then we bring you a conversation around millets, a redefinition of wellness in the 21st century, AI-powered wellness and healthcare. What are we going to be talking about? Well, we're going to be talking about AI and its usage in identifying superfoods, in nourishing, and how you can thrive. It's a larger conversation that we hope you find very, very interesting.
And yet another exclusive conversation with Manoj Bajpayee coming up. He slammed filmmakers who prioritize box office over artistic value. And I quote him here verbatim, "I'll cast him and make his life hell." This is Manoj Bajpayee on Anurag Kashyap's acting career. That exclusive conversation coming up in just a bit.
And the PCB seeks Andy Pycroft's removal over the handshake row. India-Pakistan's tensions escalate with the no handshake. Remember, now there's threats to boycott the Asia Cup over this referee dispute. We'll bring you more details. All right, first up, we have extensively covered on The Breakfast Club digital arrest scams. But the rising number of Indians that are still getting trapped makes it impossible to continue to ignore.
Let's talk about some of these recent cases. For instance, a 72-year-old woman practicing lawyer was kept under digital arrest for about 9 days by fraudsters pretending to be agency officials. They claimed her Aadhaar and bank accounts were involved in illegal activities like gambling, smuggling, black money, etc. She was coerced into withdrawing funds and transferring them. The police have also registered a case under BNS and IT Act, and that's just one of the several stories that have been highlighted in the recent past.
So, a different story we're going to bring to you. A 79-year-old man in Kollam received WhatsApp and video calls from people posing as officials. Now, he was told that his Aadhaar had been misused and that legal action was pending. Under that psychological pressure, he transferred money over many transactions, large sums. He realized the deception only later.
Similarly, a retired supervisor lost around 68.3 lakh rupees. Scammers impersonated CBI, Delhi police, telecom department officials over WhatsApp calls, video calls, alleging his involvement in crimes like terrorism, money laundering, so on and so forth. They kept him under digital pressure, threatened consequences, promised return if he cooperated.
We have one more story for you. A 79-year-old lawyer, his spouse, they got a WhatsApp call from fraudsters posing as law enforcement. They produced fake documents to give this couple. They accused them of illegal SIMs, bank accounts being used for anti-national criminal activity, and then they coerced them to pay to prove their innocence. This couple lost a large sum, but some recovery has happened.
In Gurugram as well, a high-impact case involving a cooperative bank director accused in a digital arrest fraud case worth multiple crores. Court recently rejected the bail plea, noted serious grave allegations, involvement of bank chairman was also suspected, large-scale use of mule accounts to move money across states is something which is being probed as we speak.
And that's a particularly scary example because there you had banks involved too, or so-called banks involved too. Now, the MHA has given out a response. What already exists, we thought first we'd just start by bringing you a look. So, number one, there's a helpline, 1930, that was launched for immediate reports. 1930, let's just repeat that for you. There's a cybercrime portal that's been created for victim complaints. Thousands of fraud SIMs, WhatsApp accounts have already been blocked. The direction has been given to telecom firms to block any spoofed calls. Awareness drums, you would have heard the phone calls on your own phone, through media, metros. And it's not just petty cyber fraud, right? This is a psychological lock-in from the start when you first get that phone call.
And sample this, a phone call, a video screen, a fake officer in uniform, all of this to convince ordinary people that they're under digital arrest. Victims are kept on endless calls, broken down with fear, drained of their savings, and it is happening everywhere. Professionals, retirees, homemakers, students. The scam works also because it exploits trust in authority and fear of the law. The government says helplines are active, accounts are being blocked, awareness campaigns are being run, yet the scam continues to spread and the silence of victims continues to grow. This morning, we bring the spotlight back on this story, and joining us to take this conversation forward is Supreme Court advocate Ashwini Dubey. He'll be laying out what real legal protections citizens across the country have and why these fraudsters are still one step ahead. Good morning, Mr. Dubey. Hope you're doing well. It's a conversation we've had for the longest time. Every now and then we're talking about one or the other stunning case of digital arrest that's shocked one and all. What do you make of this growing pattern? There is, as soon as people are made aware of one trick that these fraudsters go back to, there's another one that comes up.
Just because the digitalization or the advent of technology has revolutionized in the manner that people interact, conduct business, access services, and that too when there is a need to have certain safeguards, those safeguards are somehow not there. Currently, if you see, it is a digital arrest has been designed in the manner that those who pretend themselves to be the officers of different agencies, they, in order to extort money by using fear, deceit and intimidation, fraudsters impersonate as law enforcement officials using threats of arrest, frozen bank accounts and passport cancellations to coerce victims into paying fine or security deposit. The law, moment there is a law made, the fraudsters go ahead 10 times than the law is made. So there is a need to reform the law side by side. The way technology is improving, the reformations are taking place, the law has to reform. Currently, if you see in India, there is no such law legal framework which is addressing the digital arrest. There are certain laws, of course, that impersonating as a public servant, that's in BNS. But that there is a little offense of 6 months, then the cheating subject to imprisonment or up to 7 years, then forgery, extortion, identity theft. But if you see the digital arrest has not been criminalized as of now in India. The Information Technology Act has also not changed to the extent that those who use the technology to cheat money and that particularly a digital arrest has not found place. So now the need is to have a law or the amendment in the Information Technology Act which can prevent these kind of the fraudsters to deceive people, number one. Number two, you see the check and balance. The moment the way technology is evolving, there has to be a mechanism to check and balance so that those who claim themselves to be the law enforcement officials, they are immediately caught. For that, we have to have our own data system. Data sovereignty is important because these fraudsters sit somewhere outside, use the technology, create an environment that they are the real court officials or the agency officials, the CBI officials or ED officials, and then try to impersonate. So there is a need. Third is important, our own awareness. We have to be vigilant 24/7. Why we have to be vigilant? That we have to first ensure that those who are calling and posing themselves as the officers, are they real officers? Because the court never function virtually. Police never arrest virtually. So we have to make sure, and that is why Ministry of Home Affairs time and again says that we have to be cautious. Because you see, human psychology and social engineering, they read it. Then one of the biggest reasons cyber scams succeed in human error. Cyber criminals use social engineering tactics to manipulate people into revealing sensitive information. And that is why we have to have a law, a stringent law, which can prevent and the specialized cyber police force. And also the bank officials should be vigilant 24/7 so that if they immediately found that any suspicious amount is being transferred, they immediately approach to that person. How we can prevent, but ultimately the onus lies on the government and the parliament to make a law so that these kind of fraudsters be arrested soon and people should not they should not lose their hard-earned money. As you have said, the 79-year-old lawyer, even the lawyer was subjected to digital arrest. You can understand, one major general was subjected to digital arrest. So they even choose those elderly people. So, and elderly people, and they somehow try to create an environment and public under the fear lose their money. Over to you.
So I think there's also one more aspect here, Ashwini. You walked us through the first three parts, but the fourth part of the difficulty of trying to get the money back. You know, we're often told that if you contact authorities within 24 hours, recovery of money will be easier. But we've had so many cases here on the Breakfast Club. We've even had victims come and talk about just how difficult it is to actually get the money back. You're often looking at, you know, a 0% chance of getting that full amount back. Ashwini, walk us through first examples. Have you personally fought a case for cybercrime for someone? Have you ever taken a case forward? Because we want to understand a little bit about the details. How does this actually happen? What have you heard from victims? Tell us that.
Look, one friend of mine who was a very senior law officer, one of the PSU, immediately he got a call saying that he is some CBI official, he is calling from the CBI office. There was already CBI raid in that PSU. Some of the officials were caught. So he thought that the CBI has come, CBI will come. He was under arrest for 24 hours. Then his wife called me and he was not able to leave the phone. Even he was going to the washroom with that phone because the scammers were pretending that if you will leave the phone or if you will not disclose the information, immediately CBI will come and arrest you. Then his wife called me. Then I called him and I immediately asked him to immediately disconnect the phone. By the time he should share his OTP, at the same time I said immediately disconnect the phone and go to the police station. Somehow he's saved. The point herein is the way they pose the information, the sensitive information through Reiki they get. The ordinary person understands that yes, they are the real CBI officials or they are real ED officials, the real police officials. And somehow they do conduct an inquiry about that person. It's not the random call not made. Somehow they conduct an inquiry, they go through the process, also find out that yes, this gentleman has money, and not 1% is not the scammers. They take the support somewhere from the bank officials, as you rightly pointed out. They find out that yes, this gentleman has money or not. Then only they try to target. Now there are enough example. You see, in 2024, if you will find that the static says that 120 crore money, 1,20 crore money throughout the world, the people have lost. And if you India, you see that number is more than 150 crores. So how these digital arrests, the people, the scammers are working, we have to understand their modus operandi at the first instance. Number two, digital payments and financial fraud risk department has to be invented in every bank. So cyber crime networks has to be monitored 24/7. And ultimately, I said one thing, data sovereignty. Our data is not saved in our country, but our data is somewhere Baku, Mongolia, Balochistan or somewhere. So we have to have our own data so that if they are within the India, if somebody is sitting in India and if do the scam, you have a way to recover that money. Our enforcement agencies have their doctrine to get that back. But if somebody is sitting in Dubai, somebody is sitting in foreign land, how will you take that money back? That is the important question. So we have to advent with the technological advancement, and also we have to make certain safeguards, guidelines so that that money can be recovered. And for that we are very back. We are very not, as of now, we are not in an advanced stage. Technology evolving, AI has come. But you see, our law enforcement agencies are still struggling to get to cope up with those fraudsters who are ahead than our enforcement agencies. Over to you.
Also, since we're talking about personal or individual stories, examples perhaps that you've come across, Ashwini, tell us the struggle where people also don't report about these kind of instances or something that they're going through, given the fear of not hearing back. That's one factor that several victims have spoken of very vocally, that even if we do complain, we don't know if we'll hear back. We don't know if someone will step up to really help us out of that situation. Now, there is a problem there too. What have you heard from people who've reached out with these stories? Have these people reported digital frauds that they've been put through? Have they heard back from agencies or the police for that matter? What's the story there?
First, why people do not report? There is a reason that we don't have a friendly police officials. The police should be friendly. The cyber officials or the agencies should be friendly so that a person feel free to approach them. It is not that they work like a colonial era police. So why people are afraid of going to the police station? People, though they have a right, constitution say, law say, enforcement agencies say that you should approach to the police. But the way they treat the victims, the victim himself, before lodging the police FIR, they treat them as a criminal or the accused. So victim himself find in an isolated place in the police station. So first, which is important in this country, is that the police should behave in a friendly manner. Then only the more and more cases will be reported. Number two, why people do not report? The reason is that they know that their money will not come back. Number three, when they go to the police somehow, instead of supporting and taking immediate action, they try to discourage them. The paisa to aayega nahi. Moment you see that mobile is lost, you go to the police station, try to lodge a FIR, NCR even the police will not give you. So that system has to be, there has to be a friendly behavior by the police official, that the more and more people will go and report it. Fourth is, there are government has been time and again asking the people to be vigilant. There are Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, National Cyber Crime Reporting Portals, Financial Cyber Fraud Reporting Systems, Cyber Forensic Labs, training through the various methods by the officials, agencies. But somehow what is required? The friendly behavior. Unless and until police comes that yes, we are there to support you, people will not report it. Because people know they will not get money back. And what is required is the officials, our agencies, victims, the data providers, as well as the bankers should act in coordination with each other collectively in order to ensure that where money has flown, which bank account was involved in, which bank was involved into it, where the money has gone, how they can recover, which person, which time they have withdrawn that money. In order to have a nationwide crack, it is required that the collectively each and every agency should work. Then only we can say that yes, money can be. Otherwise लोगों को लगता है कि हमें तो कुछ मिलना नहीं है, हम जाएं क्यों पुलिस में? That's the problem which most of the Indian citizens are facing. So
that's one, Ashwini ji. The other problem is also how people are looked down upon. Yeah. One, by the police officers. Two, by the society. So the moment you're judged for filing a complaint or being frauded digitally, and you're judged for not being as intellectually capable of coming in time while you were going through that process, people obviously, are reluctant then going forward of the stories they've heard perhaps in their neighborhood as well. So it's a cycle, I think.
Yeah,
a lot of psychological factors.
To exactly
also.
That point, going to say that I think one more aspect we can talk a little bit more about, especially because this is a show that's watched by so many people at home. I want everyone to reach out to the older people in their family, because all of the examples we gave in the beginning, it's not as if digital arrest is exclusively a problem that hits people who are in their 60s or 70s, but we do see a disproportionate number of cases coming from people who are in their 70s, where there's fear, you've received a text. And that's where I really think reaching out constantly, because when we have, Ashwini, people come and talk on the show, older people in their 70s, they talk about the loneliness, going through something like this, feeling embarrassment, and then not reaching out to everyone. So I do think that just if we all take the initiative to reach out to the older generation in our own families constantly, so at any time they're not answering calls, for example, something's up. I think that could be a positive initiative anyone watching this show can actually take.
Yes, very true. When the people, these citizens, senior citizens feel lonely, and the digital technology advancement, because everyone has an iPhone, everyone has a multimedia, what we say, everyone has a data, everyone has internet in the phone. So even our older people or senior citizens, they are not aware about how to prevent these kind of scams. So they even keep their phones sometime open, number one. Number two, when they call to their near and dear, the prompt response which is required, they don't get. Number three, we live in where the joint family concept has gone, and now the nuclear family concept has come. So often the children should visit to their elders to talk about them. They often do not visit. Fourth, the citizens' cooperation through RWAs. What is required that the senior citizen forums in each and every RWA must talk about these issues and must ensure that those who are the front runners of the society, they educate them. And when they need it, immediately somebody is coming to help them. And that is why you see, unless and until there is a collective wisdomful discussion with the elders, with the senior citizens, with the person who are advanced in the technology and have a knowledge over the technology and will make them aware, these things will keep happening. So what is required, one and important thing is, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आप बुजुर्गों के साथ कन्वर्स करिए, उनसे मिलिए, उनसे बातें करिए, उनको समझाइए, then only we can prevent it. And it is not the elders only. Even you see those who are intellectually capable, they think that they're intellectually capable, they also lose money. Because this is not only the digital, there are other fraudsters have designed many other way outs to get money. May also cheat with the money to buy because they take the OTP. Somehow Amazon people will come, somehow Flipkart wale aayenge, Blinkit person will come, will take your OTP और then पता चलेगा कि money has gone. So it's not one day process. They do complete Reiki, not one method, not only you. They try to know what are your bank balance, in which bank you are operating, what are every day, what are your what work you perform, how much cash and money flow is there.
Yeah,
so
there's no one-stop solution to this problem. So much that needs to be done on so many levels. Some suggestions have been given by you, Ashwini. There are interesting suggestions that have been acted upon in the West. For instance, you have a unique ID that each of the agency officials carry, which people are supposed to flash when they confront anyone with a question. People are supposed to first give that unique ID, and people can actually look up. So victims or people who are being frauded in this case can actually look up online and see and verify whether that ID belongs to a real agency official. Thank you so much, Ashwini, for joining us with all those details. Internet, we all know, is a double-edged sword. Endangers us, comes up with a lot of opportunities as well. So in that sense, it's a big plus if we use it right. That's all for now. We head into a quick break.
On the other side, we shift focus entirely. A discussion held by Kritzveen around the redefinition of wellness in the 21st century, AI-powered wellness in healthcare. Stay with us. We bring you a very interesting story on the other side.
In his 11-year tenure, PM Modi has held 12 exclusive interactions with News 18.
आपका प्रधानमंत्री, आपका प्रधान सेवक या आपका नरेंद्र मोदी कहीं पर भी हो, कुछ भी हो, लेकिन आखिर इंसान तो है। सबका साथ, सबका विकास। नेटवर्क 18 टीम को बहुत-बहुत बधाई देता हूं। देश को आधुनिकता की तरफ भी ले जाना है। ये तो ट्रेलर है, मुझे तो और आगे जाना है।
अब धर्म के आधार पर देश के टुकड़े नहीं होने चाहिए।
मैं ध्यान करता हूं, इसे नहीं, मैं ध्यान को जीता हूं।
एक मेगा एक्सक्लूसिव इंटरव्यू।
इंडिया अलायंस नजर नहीं आएगा, इसलिए मेरी पूरी तपस्या या मेरा फोकस देश बने इसके लिए है। जिसको किसी ने नहीं पूछा, उसको मोदी ने पूजा है। पूरे विश्व में भारत के इलेक्शन कमीशन का जय जयकार होता है और ये मोदी की गारंटी है।
Conversations with Modi, only on News 18. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Prime Minister Modi took a strong stance against the Congress and RJD over infiltration in Bihar, saying the opposition has threatened both the honor and identity of the state. Speaking at a rally in Purnia, he warned that every infiltrator will be removed and urged the NDA to act firmly. Modi accused the opposition of protecting infiltrators and misusing state resources, while also taking a dig at a controversial Congress post mocking Bihar. He stressed that the people of Bihar will give a befitting reply to the opposition in the upcoming assembly polls. Modi also highlighted the need to secure the safety and resources of the state for its own citizens.
बिहार, बंगाल, असम, कई राज्यों के लोग अपनी बहनों बेटियों की सुरक्षा को लेकर चिंतित है। इसलिए ही मैंने लाल किले से डेमोग्राफी मिशन की घोषणा की है। लेकिन वोट बैंक का स्वार्थ देखिए, कांग्रेस, आरजेडी और उसके इकोसिस्टम के लोग घुसपैठियों की वकालत करने में जुटे हैं, उन्हें बचाने में लगे हैं और बेशर्मी के साथ विदेश से आए घुसपैठियों को बचाने के लिए ये नारे लगा रहे हैं, यात्राएं निकाल रहे हैं। जो लोग घुसपैठियों की ढाल बनते हैं वो सुन ले, भारत में भारत का कानून चलेगा, घुसपैठियों की मनमानी नहीं चलेगी। ये मोदी की गारंटी है। घुसपैठियों पर कार्रवाई होगी और देश इसका अच्छा परिणाम भी देख के रहेगा। कांग्रेस अपनी राजनीति के लिए हर ऐसे व्यक्ति, हर ऐसे विचार के साथ खड़ी होती है जो भारत विरोधी हो। अभी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान भी हमने यही देखा। जब कांग्रेस सत्ता में थी तो पूरा देश आतंक से लहूलुहान होता था, कांग्रेस चुपचाप खड़ी रहती थी। आज हमारी सेना ऑपरेशन सिंदूर करती है, पाकिस्तान के कोने कोने में आतंक के आकाओं को उखाड़ फेंकती है। लेकिन कांग्रेस देश की सेना के बजाय पाकिस्तान की सेना के साथ खड़ी हो जाती है। कांग्रेस के लोग हमारी सेना के बजाय आतंकियों को पालने वालों के एजेंडे को आगे बढ़ाते हैं। पाकिस्तान का झूठ कांग्रेस का एजेंडा बन जाता है। इसलिए आपको कांग्रेस से हमेशा सतर्क रहना है। साथियों, कांग्रेस के लिए अपने वोट बैंक का हित ही सबसे बड़ा है। कांग्रेस देश हित की कभी परवाह नहीं करती। आज कांग्रेस देश विरोधियों की, घुसपैठियों की भी बहुत बड़ी रक्षक बन चुकी है। कांग्रेस जब सत्ता में थी तो घुसपैठ को बढ़ावा देती थी। और कांग्रेस चाहती है कि इस घुसपैठिए हमेशा के लिए भारत में ही बस जाए और भारत का भविष्य घुसपैठिए तय करे।
मुझे दुख इस बात का है कि हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री हैं, 2-2.25 साल लगा दिए मणिपुर जाने में, वहां भी जाकर के कोई मलहम नहीं लगा पाए। यहां बोल रहे हैं परिवार घुसपैठिया। अरे साहब, अगर घुसपैठिया 11 साल से ऊपर से तो आप हैं। अभी तो SIR हो रहा था, कितना घुसपैठिया पकड़ा भैया। और अगर एक भी घुसपैठिया है किसी भी जिले में तो प्रधानमंत्री जी, तेजस्वी यादव रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं है, आप और आपके गृह मंत्री रिस्पॉन्सिबल है। सबसे पहले आप दोनों का इस्तीफा हो जाना चाहिए कि हम नाकामयाब रहे हैं। ये क्या बात हुई प्रधानमंत्री जी? इस पद की गरिमा का तो ध्यान रखिए। चुनाव आएंगे जाएंगे, आज आप हैं कल नहीं होंगे। लेकिन इतनी डॉग विस्लिंग, इतना जहर समाज में बोने की कोशिश किस लिए? कि किसी तरह इज्जत बच जाए चुनाव में। ये प्रधानमंत्री के पद को शोभा नहीं देता।
कांग्रेस पार्टी राहुल गांधी, सोनिया गांधी घुसपैठियों का समर्थन करते हैं अपने वोट बैंक को बचाने के लिए। ये सब जानते।
Welcome back. We now move on to a very interesting conversation. In an era defined by rapid technological advancement and growing health consciousness, we find ourselves at a unique crossroads where ancient wisdom meets cutting-edge innovation. What do we mean by that?
Well, on one side, we have AI transforming how we diagnose, treat and manage health. On the other side, traditional systems continue. Ayurveda, for example, forming the backbone of our understanding as a country of what holistic insights actually mean into wellness and balance.
There's also global healthcare conversations that are shifting beyond just treating disease. And right at the heart of this shift lies an often overlooked yet powerful ally, millets.
So how do these seemingly diverse elements, we've talked about AI, we've talked about Ayurveda, healthcare, and then millets, how do they intersect? And more importantly, how can their integration pave the way for a healthier, more sustainable future? We happen to speak to doctors, entrepreneurs, and educators all to decode this. This was a CNN News 18 Health Tech Summit in which Kritzveen led the conversation. Take a look.
Let's first start with the superfoods. Can we start with the superfoods? I think everyone here wants to hear a little bit of what these two entrepreneurs are bringing to the table. Can I start with you, ma'am? Tell us a little bit about your initiative, and more than that, where did the idea of promoting millets to this extent come to your mind? सबसे पहले शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई?
Thank you. My company name is Earth Purna. So Earth Purna started, I grew up in farming family. So we used to have everything that is grown in our farm. So I got that connect कि जो हम लोग grow कर रहे हैं वही हम लोग seasonally हम लोग consume करते थे. When I came to Pune for my work, that time I found that gap कि सारी seasonal चीज़ें या फिर जो native crop थे, कुछ seasonal plant या फिर जो vegetables थे वो अभी available नहीं है market में. And that time I realized that I couldn't find ragi in Pune small shops. And I started working with an organization. They working with farmers who stays in Bor Taluka near Pune. So when I go to the village, I asked them that you used to grow ragi, why you stop? So they told me there is no market demand. अभी यहाँ पे कोई लेता ही नहीं है रागी. So इसलिए हम लोग सिर्फ घर के लिए उगाते हैं और उतना ही हम लोग खाते हैं. बाकी लोग अभी कोई हम लोग उसको बेचते नहीं हैं. So that's how it started. So then lockdown happened. So I realized only selling grain is not an option. There is a market demand for healthy food products. So we started working on recipes and that are come from my grandmother's, my Aji's recipes.
So are these all millet-based recipes?
Yes.
100%?
Yes.
Okay.
Most of them.
And how do you make it so delicious? Because the one thing, at least conventionally, when we think of millets, when we think of things that are very, very healthy for your gut, the one thing that, or apprehension that comes with it is, उतना tasty नहीं होगा.
So लड्डू सबको पसंद आते हैं. That's why they are लड्डू. And अगर दादी का रेसिपी है तो वो उतने ही प्यार से हम लोग बनाते हैं, इसलिए वो सबको पसंद आता है. We also there is one person who we consulted with her. She is an Ayurveda expert. So we also added few things that they'll be more nutritious and healthy too. So that's how we are working on these recipes.
Great Bites also has the same concept, and millet laddus is something that you'll also...
Millet laddu and some spicy millet cheese ball. वो तो हमारा ही इन्वेशन है.
बट लड्डू विद मिलेट्स, चीज बॉल विद मिलेट्स, तो वही सवाल आपके लिए भी. हाउ डज वन convince themselves कि this is a healthy dish no matter what, because the moment you say लड्डू खाना है, everyone's like it can't be healthy.
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. वही इन्होंने वो बोला,
it can't be healthy and tasty, if I can put it that way.
No, वो दादी का अगर रेसिपी है और हम अच्छा दे रहे हैं तो टेस्ट तो सबको पसंद आता ही है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि वो मिलेट का है इसके लिए कम टेस्टी रहेगा या हम खा नहीं सकते, ऐसा नहीं है.
एंड रिस्पॉन्स कैसा रहा है?
ये रिस्पॉन्स तो अच्छा है. आप पहले जैसा बोल रही थी ऐसा ही है कि वो मिलेट है करके कोई पहले हाथ नहीं लगाएगा, लेकिन जब हम टेस्ट को देंगे, वो अगर आप खा लेंगे तो एक बार खाएंगे तो बार बार तो खाएंगे.
एक बार खाएंगे, बार बार खाएंगे, and that's what's happening. That's why I'm assuming Great Bites is going to go beyond Goa. Is that right?
Yes.
Are you planning that eventually?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
हम
lovely.
ऐसा प्लान कर ही रहे हैं. हमें गोवा के बाहर क्या है, बेसिकली हेल्दी फूड सबको देना है, हेल्दी एंड न्यूट्रिशियस, और उसमें टेस्ट भी देना है, उसमें कुछ इनोवेशन भी देना है. तो ये सब कुछ देना है. इसके लिए वो गोवा या मेरे गांव तक नहीं सीमित रखना है, वो पूरा बढ़ाना है. लेकिन अभी तो हमारा 2-3 साल का ही बेबी है, तो वो अभी बढ़ जाएगा.
थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा, but that's a great
टाइम तो लगेगा.
Great initiative. Dr. Sujata, my first question then, just to keep the continuation on, is how much do you consume millets? Before we go to the Ayurveda story and talk about the wellness aspect of this discussion.
Thank you for inviting me. We recommend millets, no doubt about it, because it contains the micronutrients which are essential for the maintaining our health. But as per Ayurveda, consuming only millet is not recommended. Actually, you should have the whole grain food, whatever we are consuming daily, and in between, we can have the millets for the supplementation of micronutrients to our body for the health, maintaining the health. So that generally, and we call it as Shri Dhanya. Shri is the healthy or the good grains. So the person can consume in between or one meal for the millets after 2-3 days. That kind of advice we are giving, but not the routine.
Okay, so we'll talk about technology, AI being brought into Ayurveda. The moment we talk about Ayurveda in this country, the interesting thing is that boom, that topic is trending because it's making headlines already. Everyone is on one side of the story. Either people are extremely pro it or anti it. But at AIIA, what have you witnessed with the younger generation increasingly curious about how science works, how a human body works? Ayurveda goes back thousands of years. Are you seeing a far more enthusiastic response in that sense from the coming generation?
Yes, definitely, because Ayurveda is actually having, for teaching purpose, we are having all modern tools and technologies. The anatomy, for anatomy, we are having the virtual dissection table. And whatever the modern anatomy and the Ayurveda anatomy, what is described, we are teaching them on virtual dissection table. So they find it very interesting to learn the anatomy like subject. So I think the students are very curious and they are seeing the results and the innovations, the research which are we are publishing on the facts-based outcomes. So they are reading those and they are getting more and more attracted.
The one thing that I do want to ask though is, where do you stand on this? And just to be the devil's advocate here once again, to anyone who says that there is a lot of absurdity that comes with Ayurveda, the ones who don't believe in this school of thought, how would you say Ayurveda's response has been? And is that evolving over a period of time? Because now we're seeing technology come in, we're seeing AI come in, and more people, and Dr. Bala perhaps can also speak on this in just a bit, more and more people are saying, look, we were not wrong. There's proof to substantiate what we'd been claiming all this while.
Yes, we are integrating many things for that proving, right, these are the Ayurveda principles, and yes, these are the true principles, what we can adopt for our healthy living. So I think we are using many tools for many diseases. Like in diabetes, we have developed a tool. Actually, the diabetes type, we are having in Ayurveda, there are 20 types of diabetes. Not exactly diabetes, but we call it as a prameha, and we are having the 20 types. So they are having the different clinical pictures, and we are putting them in the AI tool. And after the history of the patient or symptomatology of the patient, by hearing those, it is giving the ready-made, tailor-made diet, lifestyle, yoga, and the medicine.
And is this different from the conventional ways of going about diabetic patients? How is it different? How are these tools different than how a diabetic patient is normally told that this is your sugar level?
Because we are integrating this investigation also in it. But whatever the symptoms that patient is having, that depends. Like in kapha type of diabetes, the patient will having the more swelling, the dizziness, like things, and that's why that symptomatology is feeded in that tool, and that will give the whatever ultimate diet he should take.
Okay. Dr. Bala, your story is very interesting because the whole concept of Ayur AI was a personal story, a personal experience that translated into something that we're seeing today, a blend of tech and Ayurveda. So tell us a little bit about that story. Everyone should first be told कि आया कहाँ से, कि Ayurveda, जो goes back thousands of years, had to be made more tech friendly.
First of all, thanks for the invitation. Happy to be among other women entrepreneurs and ma'am. Happy to be the minority on the stage. So I'm not an Ayurveda doctor. I come with no agenda in Ayurveda. I'm an engineer by background. Did my BTech in IIT in electrical engineering and aerospace engineering, and did my PhD in electrical engineering. So just want to give a context how an electrical engineer, is getting into Ayurveda. So after I returned back from US, I had a disease called chronic gastritis. So like everyone, you go to a modern doctor and then they do an endoscopy and they identify the cause of the disease. So, I thought I'll get better in a week. That's what was promised. And then I kept on taking modern medicines for 7+ years. I said clearly something is not working, right? And I stopped all the medication. It, in fact, made my health worse in certain aspects. So my mother-in-law one day told I should meet an Ayurveda doctor, right? Now imagine an engineer sitting with an IIT background and being told to meet an Ayurveda doctor. It was a very skeptical experience at first. Right? I would say that we come with our own preconceptions of what something is because we're not taught, right? So just 5 minutes of meeting the Ayurveda doctor changed my perspective, right? But by the time I had worked with a lot of sensors and instruments, he just takes these 3 fingers and then does an examination for a minute. And he could tell my whole history that I got 5 years back, right? This gastritis, and it aggravated 3 years back, and this is where it is. So to me, it is, it is all about experiencing it and making your own decision. Right? So we come with a lot of these preconceptions. Then I took the Ayurveda treatment and I felt better, after long years. Then I quit my job in CSIR and I started this company. The main goal is, we had a saying, in God we trust, everybody else must bring data. So then we started creating data, right? So Ayurveda, there's the question that you had asked, right? It's a 2000-year-old science, right? Some people believe it, some people don't believe it. If you understand, right, the fundamental history of Ayurveda, ma'am knows much more than me, there is enough clinical evidence for the last 2000 years, right? Otherwise, any medicinal system will not survive if it's not producing the right benefits. What has been missing is 2 things. Creating an evidence like how we do in modern science, longitudinally tracking before and after interventions, how the patients are getting better, showing proof, right? Before treatment, sugar level is, 200, and after treatment, sugar level is 100. I think that proof we have not created in Ayurveda. That's where AI will come into the picture, right? And the second thing is modern interpretation of Ayurveda, right? So a lot of these terms, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, at that time, Ayurveda acharyas, doctors understood certain way of physiology. And modern terms, we have a very reductionist way of understanding things, right? But body is not, just sum of blood markers. So the way we understand is an integrative approach where we combine the best of Ayurveda, which looks at your body as a whole, and modern markers, which dissects the body and tries to understand. I think both approaches have its own value. And the goal is to integrate these 2 approaches, and AI is very much needed because neither doctor understands the other medicinal system. Yeah. So we have to build in processes and AI to ensure that both these inputs are taken, both in diagnosis and personalized recommendations.
So AI essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, is bridging the gap, right? So diagnosis is happening and the doctor is being able to pick on that diagnosis through AI, and that's where it comes into play. And there's a wonderful line that you keep repeating, which is that AI is not going to, in this case, at least replace doctors. It's only going to make every doctor a good doctor.
Absolutely. In fact, we have a saying, AI will never replace doctors, but doctors who know AI will replace doctors who don't. That's the power of the AI, right? It's an efficiency enhancer, as previous speaker also said. We have to leverage all the tools to give the best diagnosis and treatment, because at the end of the day, patient doesn't care whether it's Ayurveda or modern science. They want their problem to get resolved.
So Cheta, how much of technology, given that we're living in this increasingly tech-driven world, farming is no different, and the one section that you closely work is farmers. You're working with farmers, so improving their lives is one part of your story, and the other is, of course, ensuring people eat healthy food. So at Earth Purna, what have you observed in terms of how sustainable farming is getting more effective with the use of the right tech and AI?
अगर हम लोग मिलेट का एग्जांपल लेते हैं, सो मिलेट कम ऑन माउंटेन स्लोप एंड दे कम ऑन वेरी लेस वाटर, दे ग्रो ऑन वेरी लेस वाटर. So traditionally we were growing it, but farmers have stopped. So maybe take people tend to eat healthy thing, but हमें अगर ऑनलाइन हम लोग सर्च करते हैं तो यूजुअली मिलता है कि ये मत खाओ, वो मत खाओ, वो मत खाओ, वो मत खाओ. क्या खाना है वो कोई बताता नहीं है. So that's how we want to bridge the gap कि farmers को fair price मिल सके वहाँ पे. We are promoting them that they can grow the traditional crop. They are good for soil, good for us, and providing customers that healthy food products. So the tech thing you asked me, so tech can help farmers. So which are the traditional crop they were growing, they can get the data. Also people can connect, use AI to get the good fit diet for them.
That's all the time we had. Thank you so much. It was such a wonderful conversation. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Dr. Bala. Thank you.
All right, shifting focus now to something very different. Manoj Bajpayee catches up with News 18 Shosha's Tatas. They sat down, he bared his heart out about jealousies in the film industry, his own love-hate relationship with Anurag Kashyap, and why indie films sometimes suffer due to the god-like treatment of the box office.
And this was one of his most honest chats indeed. He called out filmmakers who chose to throw parties for stylists, for diamond merchants, and those who weren't able to see, and I caught him here, the sexy side to his acting. While he has found sudden love for Anurag, he spoke about that, talks about teaching the filmmaker a lesson for becoming an actor now. So let's take a look at this interview, spilling the beans on reuniting with Ram Gopal Verma and much more.
Hello everyone, welcome to News 18. I am Titash Chaudhary in conversation with Manoj Bajpayee. Hello sir, nice to meet you again.
Again.
How are you?
We'll meet again.
Yes, why not? We should.
Yeah.
So start with जो जुगनमा फिल्म है, मैंने कहीं पढ़ा था, please correct me if I'm wrong, जो स्क्रिप्ट डेवलपमेंट का प्रोसेस है उस 9 साल लग गए.
काफ़ी साल लगे थे. पहले तो राम ने लिखा, दिन मुझे अप्रोच किया, दिन मैंने हाँ कहा, उसके बाद भी काम चलता रहा. दिन मैं और राम करीब 1.5 साल तक साथ में बैठते रहे. मैं रिहर्स करता रहा उसके साथ. फिर लैंग्वेज के पे काम करते रहे, फिर जो कैरेक्टर पे काम करते रहे at his place, and the process, the script was changing. He was adding quite a lot of things, cutting too many things. So yes, it was a long process that we've gone through. फिर वो शूट करके आया, एक पोर्शन मेरी बेटी का जो रोल कर रही है उसका. Then he came back and he was not happy. Then he's kind of removed a few of it, kept very little of that schedule. So the script kept on developing. I would not say changing, kept on developing, improving,
evolving.
Yeah.
So you became a part of this, matlab, right since the very beginning. The moment he wrote the script, he came to you. This was how many years back?
This is what I was told. So also I decided not to work for a year. So I was sitting at.
This was when? कौन से साल था?
Before the start of Family Man season 1.
Oh, okay.
Then I was sitting with him. Then again, it took time for him because he wanted to be sure of the script. He's somebody who's always evolving. He doesn't stop the work till he really feels that he can go ahead and make the film.
Right.
And sometimes he shoots and then he feels that it is not up to the mark. Then again he goes back and revisits the scene. So he's that kind of a director. He's very clear. He's 35 now. That time he must be what, 32?
Okay, well, now shifting our attention to the world of cricket for a while, the India-Pakistan handshake controversy has escalated beyond the field clearly.
And PCB's lodged a complaint against a referee. They've even threatened a boycott, while India refuses to share the stage with the ACC chief Mohsin Naqvi.
Clearly, the Asia Cup now faces stormy off-field battles too. Let's talk about this handshake controversy in detail. Let's take you through this report.
The handshake controversy between India and Pakistan is far from calming down. On Sunday, the two teams faced each other in the Asia Cup fixture, but the contest remained restricted to cricket alone. Neither the players greeted each other nor did they share any words before or after the game. At the toss, Captain Suryakumar Yadav and Salman Ali Agha avoided even eye contact. Later, Suryakumar sealed India's 7-wicket win with a 6 and walked straight to the dressing room, skipping the customary post-match handshake. The situation escalated the following day. The Pakistan Cricket Board lodged a complaint with the International Cricket Council, claiming that match referee Andy Pycroft had instructed both captains not to shake hands before the game. This directive, the PCB argues, is unacceptable. Now, according to CricBuzz, the PCB has threatened to withdraw from its upcoming group stage game against the UAE on September 17th unless its demand for Pycroft's removal is accepted. Some reports in Pakistani media have gone even further, suggesting that Pakistan might pull out of the Asia Cup altogether if the Zimbabwean official is not sacked. Meanwhile, the Indian camp has also made its stance clear. On Monday, it was reported that the Indian team has decided not to share the presentation stage with Asian Cricket Council chief Mohsin Naqvi should they reach the final and win the tournament. The Asia Cup final is scheduled for September 28th, and as ACC president, Naqvi is expected to present the trophy to the champions. News agency PTI reported that if India win the tournament, the players are unlikely to stand alongside Naqvi at the presentation ceremony. The development comes after Naqvi openly criticized India's stance on the handshake issue. Without naming the Indian team, he accused them of dragging politics into the game and said such conduct was against the spirit of sports. Utterly disappointed to witness the lack of sportsmanship today. Dragging politics into the game goes against the very spirit of sports. Let's hope future victories are celebrated by all teams with grace, Naqvi wrote on X. The scenario has stretched far beyond a mere handshake. As both sides remain firm, the Asia Cup continues to be overshadowed by off-field distractions. What happens next is something we'll have to wait and watch.
In his 11-year tenure, PM Modi has held 12 exclusive interactions with News 18.
आपका प्रधानमंत्री, आपका प्रधान सेवक या आपका नरेंद्र मोदी कहीं पर भी हो, कुछ भी हो, लेकिन आगे इंसान तो है। सबका साथ, सबका विकास। नेटवर्क 18 टीम को बहुत-बहुत बधाई देता हूं। देश को आधुनिकता की तरफ भी ले जाना है। ये तो ट्रेलर है। मुझे तो और आगे जाना है। अब धर्म के आधार पर देश के टुकड़े नहीं होने चाहिए। मैं ध्यान करता हूं, इसलिए मैं ध्यान को जीता हूं।
एक मेगा एक्सक्लूसिव इंटरव्यू
इंडिया अलायंस नजर नहीं आएगा। इसलिए मेरी पूरी तपस्या या मेरा फोकस देश बने इसके लिए है। जिसको किसी ने नहीं पूछा, उसको मोदी ने पूजा है। पूरे विश्व में भारत के इलेक्शन कमीशन का जय जयकार होता है और ये मोदी की गारंटी है।
Conversations with Modi, only on News 18. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Prime Minister Modi took a strong stance against the Congress and RJD over infiltration in Bihar, saying the opposition has threatened both the honour and identity of the state. Speaking at a rally in Purnia, he warned that every infiltrator will be removed and urged the NDA to act firmly. Modi accused the opposition of protecting infiltrators and misusing state resources, while also taking a dig at a controversial Congress post mocking Bihar. He stressed that the people of Bihar will give a befitting reply to the opposition in the upcoming assembly polls. Modi also highlighted the need to secure the safety and resources of the state for its own citizens.
बिहार, बंगाल, असम, कई राज्यों के लोग अपनी बहनों बेटियों की सुरक्षा को लेकर चिंतित हैं। इसलिए ही मैंने लाल किले से डेमोग्राफी मिशन की घोषणा की है। लेकिन वोट बैंक का स्वार्थ देखिए, कांग्रेस, आरजेडी और उसके इकोसिस्टम के लोग घुसपैठियों की वकालत करने में जुटे हैं, उन्हें बचाने में लगे हैं और बेशर्मी के साथ विदेश से आए घुसपैठियों को बचाने के लिए ये नारे लगा रहे हैं, यात्राएं निकाल रहे हैं। जो लोग घुसपैठियों की ढाल बनते हैं वो सुन ले, भारत में भारत का कानून चलेगा, घुसपैठियों की मनमानी नहीं चलेगी। ये मोदी की गारंटी है। घुसपैठियों पर कार्रवाई भी होगी और देश इसका अच्छा परिणाम भी देख के रहेगा। कांग्रेस अपनी राजनीति के लिए हर ऐसे व्यक्ति, हर ऐसे विचार के साथ खड़ी होती है जो भारत विरोधी हो। अभी ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के दौरान भी हमने यही देखा। जब कांग्रेस सत्ता में थी तो पूरा देश आतंक से लहूलुहान होता था, कांग्रेस चुपचाप खड़ी रहती थी। आज हमारी सेना ऑपरेशन सिंदूर करती है।
All right, next we bring you a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for healthcare, investing, business insights. Take a look. First, the markets. GIFT Nifty indicates a muted opening for Indian stock markets. Asian stocks were mixed today as traders await crucial Fed rate cut decisions. US stock markets closed at record highs on buying in shares of tech companies. Crude oil prices are steady. This is as traders weigh demand-supply equations, and gold prices are also trading steady.
And on to a sector in particular, the affordable segment outpaced overall housing finance sector performance. Asset quality monitoring is required as business scale up and the loan book matures. Productivity gains, stable asset quality, interest rate benefits to support return on assets of affordable housing finance companies. Companies with a substantial exposure to this niche segment will outperform. So do log into Money Control Pro to find out more about India's affordable housing finance sector and other actionable insights on market. It's the premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control.
All right, and with that, we are drawing today's show back in Delhi to a close. We're going to continue to bring you reports from Goa, but we also have a number of very exciting stories, the country's top experts, all lined up for you through the week.
Tomorrow, in fact, we're going to be trying to talk about the story that's got everyone's attention, which is the brain amoeba story. It's claimed a couple of lives. We'll be decoding that with our guest tomorrow morning. See you at 8.
Brought to you by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Prime Minister Modi took a strong stance against the Congress and RJD over infiltration in Bihar, saying the opposition has threatened both the honor and identity of the state. Speaking at a rally in Purnia, he warned that every infiltrator will be removed and urged the NDA to act firmly. Modi accused the opposition of protecting infiltrators and misusing state resources, while also taking a dig at a controversial Congress post mocking Bihar. He stressed that the people of Bihar will give a befitting reply to the opposition in the upcoming